A warm good morning to one and all, and welcome back to Story Time. Last week we were reading the story The 12 Dancing Princesses, which was written by the Brothers Grimm. Are you all excited to read the rest of the story? Then come on, let's read and get to know what happened to the 12 dancing princesses. Chapter 4 Ralph and Rascal. One day, a magician named Ralph and his pet dog Rascal were passing the castle. Ralph noticed one of the king's posters and decided to find out more. This could be interesting, Rascal. When he saw Ralph, the king looked doubtful, but he was desperate to know what the girls were up to, so he agreed to let Ralph try. "I'll chop off your head if you fail, you know." "Yes, but I won't fail." Night came, and Ralph was put in the same room where the others had stayed. "Hello, I'm Amy," said the youngest. "He's nice," she whispered to her sisters. "I don't want him to die because of us. Maybe we shouldn't go out tonight." Her sisters ignored her. A few minutes later, Annabel, the elder sister, brought Ralph a cup of cocoa. But Ralph was a wise magician. He knew what she was up to. "This is for you." "It will take more than that to fool me." He pretended to drink the cocoa. Then, when Annabel wasn't looking, he poured it into Rascal's bowl. Rascal was delighted. Ralph yawned. "I think I'll just put my feet up for a few minutes," he told Annabel. Then, with an even bigger yawn, he pretended to fall fast asleep. Annabel crept back to her sisters. "He's asleep," she whispered. "Let's get ready." They put on their sparkliest ball dresses and new shoes. The princess shimmered like a rainbow. With the last button buttoned and the last bow tied, the girls stood by their beds. Annabel pulled back a dusty old rug in the corner of the room to reveal a secret trap door. The hinges creaked as she pulled it open. One by one, the girls disappeared down some steps and into a long dark tunnel. Chapter 5 Ralph on the Trail. When the princesses were out of sight, Ralph quickly entered their room. He clicked his fingers and a cloak appeared. With a second click, Ralph vanished. Carefully, he tiptoed down the steps into the tunnel. It didn't take long for him to catch up with the princesses. Ralph tried to walk quietly, but it wasn't easy. At one point, he stepped on Amy's dress. She jumped and turned around, but there was no one there. A few moments later, Ralph stepped on a twig. Now, Amy was convinced that someone was following them. Her sisters didn't believe her. "What was that?" "You're just hearing things, silly." At the end of the tunnel, they came to an astonishing row of trees. Some of the trees glistened with silver, some with gold, and some with sparkling diamonds. Ralph had never seen trees like them. While the princesses carried on, he gently broke off a twig from each tree. Up ahead, the princesses had stopped before a lake. It stood in the shadow of a beautiful castle. The 12 boats were waiting at the edge of the lake, and in each boat sat a handsome prince. Each prince rowed a princess across the lake. Ralph sneaked into the boat carrying Amy. When they reached the other side, a band began to play. The princesses danced until their feet were sore and the soles of their shoes were worn through. As the sun rose, they limped home. Our nights of dancing are still safe, unlike poor Ralph's head, said Annabel, yawning. Amy looked upset. Chapter 6. A Shock for the King. The king was having breakfast when Ralph strolled in. "Good morning, Your Majesty," said Ralph brightly. "I suppose you have come to tell me you failed too," sighed the king. "Ah, but I didn't, sire," Ralph replied. Waving the twigs, he told the king what he had seen. "The mystery is solved." "This all sounds very unlikely," grumbled the king when Ralph had finished. "Are you sure you are not just making it up to save your head?" He decided to call for Annabel. When she saw the 3 twigs in his hand, she looked horrified. One look at her face told the king all he needed to know. "Dancing is banned," he declared. The princesses sobbed and wailed when they heard their secret had been discovered. "What will we do?" they cried. "Life is so dull without dancing. This is the worst day of my life." But there was nothing they could do. True to his word, the king let Ralph marry one of his daughters. "I would like Amy," Ralph said, "if she'll have me. She's the sweetest of all." Amy and Ralph's wedding was a joyful occasion. Even the king couldn't stop smiling. "I have a surprise for you," he whispered to Amy. "I'm sure you will both be very happy." The king led her to a ballroom and Amy gasped. Hundreds of candles lit up the dance floor, and in the corner a band was playing a lively tune. "As it's a special occasion, you may all dance, but for only one night," said the king. "Oh, how wonderful!" cried Amy and her sisters, grabbing partners. They were all still dancing the following night. "I thought I said one night only," said the king, but he smiled. Ralph had worked some more of his magic. I hope you all loved this story, didn't you? Till we meet next time, it's me saying bye-bye. Keep reading and stay safe.